Hi you guys. Okay, why did I get suspended? When I was 15, oh wait, first I gotta give a disclaimer. You know that when something's dangerous or even deadly, you know, I gotta warn you guys, please, please, please don't do this. Okay, actually, this story is, I also wanted to say, even though it's so dangerous, why do I tell it? I tell it because it's funny. It's a funny story. It's so funny that when I went to my high school reunion, just my 40th high school reunion just a couple months ago, there was a teacher there from when he had just started about 43 years ago, because this was when I was 15. That was his first year when this happened. So he had heard that something had happened that was funny, but he didn't know all the details. So when I came back for this 40th reunion, he asked me the details. And you know, I only at this 40th reunion found out some of the details because my friends who were witnesses, they shared with me, they told me what had happened when I was so out of it that I didn't know. Okay, so what happened when I was 15 years old that caused me to be suspended? Okay, my friend, my very, very good friend lived in New Jersey and I lived in Florida. And she took me home for a weekend. Okay, so I had been used to getting high by this time and even doing acid by this time, but I had never, ever, ever been drunk. So, you know me, I like to experience things, and so we came up with a plan on how we were gonna let me experience getting drunk. We took, you know, in the olden days, they didn't have plastic Coke bottles, they had glass ones. Well, we took a glass Coke bottle. I don't know how we sealed it. I don't remember, but anyway. And when her mom was not looking, or her dad, I forget which one it was because her parents were divorced, we got into the liquor cabinet and we poured a little bit of everything into this bottle. Do you realize what kind of poison that is? People have really, really, really died from that. It's a miracle that I didn't. Anyway, so we planned that the next weekend the two of us were going to do it. We're gonna drink this thing, this bomb or whatever it was. Anyway, so but yeah, guess what? The weekend came that we were supposed to do it and she chickened out. But I wanted to experience it, so it tasted so horrible. I just drank it until I was so out of my mind that I couldn't even remember to drink more. I mean, I could not. From this point on, they were the ones that filled me in on what happened, but they told me that this is what happened. We had been in the dorm doing this, and I started to talk, this is what they told me, I started to talk about how I had tried out for a glee club and I had been rejected, right? And rejected for a glee club. Maybe sometime I'll sing and you can figure out why. But anyway, and there was a little concert going on in the main hall of our boarding school. And so I guess in my out of mind state, I said, I want to go see how good they are so that I can see why they rejected me. So I don't know how I got there, but all right. So the boarding school was set up that it was there was a quad. It was in a there was a quad in the middle of it. It was like kind of like the Pentagon, or not the Pentagon. There was 4 sides to it, and with the classrooms on the bottom level and the dorms above it and everything. But over here on this side, there was like a big living room type of thing with grand staircases going up to the dorms, and the Glee Club was all standing on these stairs. Well, I did not come out through this entrance so that I was not on the stage or whatever, but there's a back way, a back staircases that actually, when you go down them, it leads you to the front door to go out. Okay, I don't know how. I don't know how, but I found my way over to this staircase. And my friends were just following me, not knowing what I was gonna do. And guess what happened? I tumbled down the staircase, and right in front of the front door, I just laid there like this. And this old lady, now I probably wouldn't think she's that old because I'm pretty old right now, but this old lady who was a very, very nice old lady, she was like the receptionist. She came and she stood over me looking down at me, and I was just lying there. But I remember this part. I remember thinking to myself, I am going to be in such big trouble. I've got to come up with a plan. Here I was lying there with her looking down at me, and I was thinking this. And so the plan that came up to me, she's gonna want to know why I fell down, why I'm lying here. And so the first thought that came up to me was what I said. I jumped up and I said, I've got the flu. Well, she could smell me a million miles away, right? There was no not knowing what I had done. And the next thing I remember is the day after. Well, I kind of remember what happened. They took me to the infirmary. Now, this is where my friends told me what happened. My friends said that they came to visit me in the infirmary, and there was a nurse with me. I do remember I threw up all night, right? But I didn't remember this part. And thank God I threw up. I would have died if I hadn't have thrown up. But I do remember this part. This part, I remember throwing up, but I don't remember what actually happened. My two friends came to visit me at the infirmary, and they said that I was tied to a chair, and so I guess so that I would stay up, and that my hair was sticking out like a mad scientist, all filled with throw up. And so the next thing I remember, but that stayed firmly in their minds, it was a sight that they will never forget probably. Okay, the next thing I remember is a couple days later when I was called before the whole board of the school, and they called me in to see to tell me what was going to happen. Well, I come in, it was the most scary thing in the world. All these old people, now I wouldn't consider them old, sitting around, and I stood there like I was in a courtroom, and they announced to me that they were not going to expel me, but they were going to give me a chance, but it was just as bad because it goes on your record, almost just as bad. I was going to be suspended. I don't know if it was 1 week or 2, but the thing is that what they did not realize was that I didn't care. I was so not caring, not thinking anything bad could happen to me, I just loved having fun experiences. So as long as I wasn't kicked out, but they, I do remember sitting on the airplane going home because they were, my boarding school was in Connecticut, and I had to fly home to Miami. I remember sitting on the in the airplane thinking about what kind of trouble I was going to get in. I had no remorse, right? I just wanted to keep on keeping on, but I had no remorse, but I was scared of my punishment, right? What's going to happen to me when I exit this plane? So I must have had a really troubled look on my face, right? So I get off the plane, and it was my mother who greeted me. And my father was on a trip somewhere for his business, whatever. And I got off the plane, and she said, "Mary, I can see by your face how sorry you were." I wasn't sorry, I was just scared of what she was going to do to me. "I can see by your face that you've learned your lesson, and that you'll never do this again." Little did she know what was going to happen around the corner. But anyway, and she said, you know what, you've already experienced your punishment. Just, you know, you're going to be with me for the next couple of days. And you know what? I was in Florida. It was winter in Connecticut, and here I was in Florida in the sunshine, and I spent the time sunbathing. Well, bad things did happen later on, so don't think that you can do something like that and get away with it, and you don't want to ever try that because you might die, God forbid. But anyway, that is the infamous story of my time of being suspended. Well, until next time, what do I say again? Oh yeah, dream big and go for it.